Our annual Christmas vacation was something I always looked forward to. After months of stressful work schedules and the chaos of city life, Ryan and I would escape to a cozy mountain cabin to recharge and reconnect. We had been together for 6 years, and these trips were our sacred tradition. But last year's trip turned out to be the last. From the moment we arrived at the cabin, I sensed something was off. Ryan seemed distracted, constantly checking his phone under the guise of work emergencies. He brushed off my concerns, telling me he was wrapping up some last-minute deals before the holidays. The cracks began to show during our first hike. We had barely gone a mile when his phone buzzed, and he suddenly had to stop to take a quick call. I waited, shivering in the cold, as he walked out of earshot to have his conversation. When he returned, his demeanor was unusually distant, his enthusiasm for the hike completely gone. That evening, while Ryan was in the shower, I noticed his phone vibrating on the kitchen counter. I wasn't the type to snoop, but the name flashing on the screen stopped me in my tracks: Emily. I had never heard of her before, but the text preview made my stomach churn. Miss you already. Can't wait until New Year's. I tried to calm myself, convincing myself it might be harmless. But the nagging doubt wouldn't let me rest. When Ryan fell asleep that night, I unlocked his phone using the code I had memorized long ago, something I never thought I'd have to do. What I found shattered me. There were hundreds of messages between Ryan and Emily, detailing a relationship that had clearly been going on for months. They exchanged photos, made plans for romantic getaways, and even referred to me in passing, always in the context of how Ryan had to keep things quiet. The most recent message sent earlier that day read, "Can't wait for our New Year's trip. I wish I didn't have to play house with her right now." I stayed up all night, numb with shock and unable to process the betrayal. The next morning, I confronted Ryan. He tried to deny it at first, but when I showed him the messages, his face crumpled with guilt. "I didn't want you to find out like this," he said, as if that made any difference. He admitted he had met Emily at a conference months ago and claimed he was confused about his feelings. The rest of the trip was a nightmare. I packed my bags and left the cabin early, driving back to the city in tears. The holidays, once my favorite time of year, were now tainted by the memory of Ryan's betrayal. It's been a year since that Christmas. I've spent the time rebuilding my life and learning to trust again. While the scars of Ryan's betrayal still linger, I've come to realize that his actions were a reflection of him, not me.